October 21st, 2010 was the exact date when Xbox introduced achievements into the ecosystem. And I remember when it first came out, we thought this is an absolutely fantastic thing to add to games. It gives us a reason to keep playing games longer, look for particular things that we wasn't interested in games. It would be a great carrot on the stick as such. And then from then, obviously, everybody, when they see a good idea, tends to copy it. So then PlayStation introduced trophies. We've got Steam doing a similar thing. Well, everyone apart from Nintendo. Are you sure you don't want to do it, Nintendo?
No!
Well, the gamers kind of want it. Do you not want it?
No!
Not even a chance of getting it?
No!
And I always thought that Nintendo, even if they were saying that we don't want to introduce it, I was like, but at the end of the day, it's not down to you. If the gamers want it, you should introduce it, and then people can pick and choose to have it. But I think Nintendo might be right, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So if we boil it down to its essence, and by the way, I'll be interchanging achievement and the word trophy all the way through this, but what the purpose of them is really to keep us in that game longer. The point of it is to make us either do something repetitively or go back and play the game again, or go somewhere which we didn't intend on doing to be able to unlock that trophy or achievement. And I've been down the rabbit hole of chasing trophies all the way from Assassin's Creed 2 to the point where I had to collect feathers. I think it was 100 feathers or 200, whatever it was. There was a substantial amount of feathers that I had to collect in Assassin's Creed. And I did it. I sat there with a map and I climbed everything and got them all. And it took me so long to do that it rewired my brain. And I remember going to a home store, and when I walked in there, someone had put a feather inside a glass jar, and the second I saw it, I remember getting this like dopamine rush of like, and then I was like, no, I don't need that feather. But my brain had been trained to hunt for feathers so much. And I think the very latest platinum that I've actually done is Cyberpunk. I went through, fell madly in love with that game. I know people said it was glitchy. I was lucky it wasn't too bad on the PS5. It crashed, but it was playable. So I went through and got every last drop out of that game, and I used trophies as a way to keep playing. Even once I've done the base game, I was like, right, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do this because the trophies has told me to do it. But I do think they can be damaging for three main reasons: burnout, mood killing, and anxiety. And straight away, I'm just going to warn off the bat, anyone that suffers from anxiety will know that I'm not referring to that kind of anxiety. I'm just using it because it's the best word to describe it. Dread, whatever you want to call it. So let's start with burnout. So going back to Assassin's Creed 2 as the example, I played that game and it's a sandbox. And I always think sandboxes, sometimes if you stay in them too long, you get burnout and you start to resent the game. So I think sometimes it's better to just pull that ripcord. Once you've done, go out. If you're madly in love, then carry on doing a couple of the side quests. But Assassin's Creed, because I was chasing the 1000 Gs, I stayed in it far too long. I was hunting down all them feathers, and by the end of it, I was completely burnt out to the point where I didn't want to see Assassin's Creed again because I spent too long there. And the other thing is as well, what will happen is we'll end up doing a repetitive task over and over again. And devs have said in the past that we are very good at optimizing the fun out of games. So in other words, if we can find an exploit or glitch, we will jump onto that. So going back to Cyberpunk, there was a particular trophy which was, I can't remember if you needed so much money or you needed to unlock all the cars, so I needed so much money. But either way, I needed cash. And I'd been round, I had done every mission, every side mission, and killed every gang. And I still didn't have enough money. So that turned to using an exploit. And one of them being that there was a picture that had come down from a rocket, and if you sold it, you got a bit of cheese. But you could buy it back at a very cheap price and then sell it back for more cheese. So I had to keep doing that, but you could only do it in so many times in so many locations, and then you'd have to move to the next location. So what I had done is they may have made this trophy with the intention to go out and enjoy the world. But what happened was I went up to a post box, went sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. Next post box, sell, buy, sell, buy. And it makes you not enjoy the game. And even if that glitch wasn't there, I have a friend who was playing Cyberpunk and he was doing all of the trophies and then gave up because he couldn't get all the money. And then I told him the exploit still exists, it's not been patched, and then he jumped back on it. So without the exploit, he didn't want to do it. And then with the exploit, he did it, but didn't enjoy it. So either way, it wasn't really a good trophy. And I think that's the biggest damaging thing with them. It can force you into these worlds far too long. One of the other things I think they're terrible for is a mood killer. Now, I played a game called Last Day in June. It's a small indie game, been out for ages, well worth picking up because it's super cheap. And it's about loss of a loved one. And it's got this really nice soft music playing throughout it. The colour palette is amazing. The story is really, really good. And you have these moments that draw you in. And then it went... Congratulations. And I nearly actually gave you a spoiler then. But yeah, congratulations. This has happened. And I was like, no. I was in that moment. I was leaning on my seat forwards, and then you went and it just killed the mood completely. I think even in a world like Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm playing it, it's fun, I'm shooting dinosaurs, but after a bit, I start playing these games and the real world starts to melt away. And I think that's when you've got a good game on your hands, you kind of forget that you're playing it and you're in it. And to have something just constantly going in the corner is a constant reminder you're playing a game. And it just breaks the flow of anything that I'm doing in the game. But the third thing is anxiety and dread. Like I said, I'm a pinch of salt with that word in, but it's the best way to describe it. And one of them being is there is nothing worse than looking at the trophies, and sometimes there might be a timed event or, you know what I mean, you got one chance to get that trophy on that playthrough anyway, and you miss it. And then you're going to have to go, well, I'm either going to have to go back and reload a save, which just breaks the flow of the game, or you've missed it, and now you're like, oh, and you get this dread that I've cocked it up. Now, there's a game called Spiritfarer, which again, you must play, and it's a game about loss, and obviously there's trophies in it. And when I was playing it, I looked at the trophy list and I was like, you know what, that's all very doable, but there was one particular trophy on there, and what it was is you have people that come onto your boat and you need to make them very happy before they leave your boat. But there is no way to tell if you've done so. So you can look at a particular character and see, yes, they're super happy, but it's down to you to mentally record, I've made them fully happy so I can ignore them now, and now I'm working on this person. But because people are hopping on and off your boat, it's quite hard to remember, did I make that person happy or not? So I managed to get everything done, do all the recipes, do everything that the game asked me to, but I had missed one person. Well, I assume one person because the trophy never popped. And that left me really upset that I had failed at something that I was trying to achieve. But then a part of your brain is like, well, you've done every trophy. Just go back, play the game again very fast and make everybody happy. Well, the thing is, if you've ever played Spiritfarer, it's such a beautiful game, from the music to the art design to the actual subject matter of people are going to die and you have to help them pass on. And it was such a beautiful game, and that much so, Jess, my daughter, even watched it, and it was her first taste of death. So when her beloved characters actually died, she cried. And I thought it was a very special moment for her to actually get a taste of death in a better way than reality. So yeah, this game is very, very special to me. And then my brain's like, just play it again and just button mash. And I was like, that would damage the beauty of that game. And I will be playing it again because there's been some free DLC, so maybe I'll catch it on the second time around. But the fact is, there was something at the back of my head willing to damage the game for a digital thing to pop up. So I jumped between different consoles, and I was heavily Xbox, then I've jumped to PlayStation, and every so often I'll jump over to the Switch. But what I noticed is when I jumped over to the Switch, the anxiety and dread, and like I said, it's not anything particularly bad, you know what I mean? I'm not sat there going, oh, I don't want to boot the game up. It's just, there wasn't something at the back of my mind always going, check the trophies. Are you on track for the trophies? When I was on the Switch, I never had that little demon on my shoulder. And it made me go, all the time that I've moaned at Nintendo for not having trophies, I'm kind of glad they haven't. So that was like my waking up moment where I was like, I don't think I'm enjoying these anymore. So I went onto the Xbox and went onto the PlayStation, and both of them have the ability to disable them. So you still earn them. They just will not pop up during the game. And what's nice is when you finish the game and you close it and you go to the dashboard, that's when you'll get your flood of trophies. And I think that's the perfect time to get them because you've already come out of the game, it can't break flow, and then you're like, oh, look, I've got a bunch of trophies. And it's still there. If I want to, I can go, well, I've got 70% of those done. Let me just see what the other 30% is, and then jump in, have a look, and maybe I will do it then. So for me, I've completely given up on them, shut them down. I tend to not even look at them now because once I've turned them off and realised they was doing me damage, I've kind of not cared for them. But I do think there is most definitely a time and a place for trophies. Now, I platinum Modern Warfare 2, the OG one, and that forced me through veteran mode. And it was incredibly hard. And without the carrot on the stick, I wouldn't have done it. So at the end of it, I was glad that that trophy achievement system was there because it made me do something that I didn't want to do. But that's the difference. Some people use trophies so wrong to just make you do a task over and over again, while some others will say, you need to grow some balls and do this a lot harder. And if you're willing to do it, the payoff is awesome because you're like, I actually did it and I've got something to show for it. So I do think there is a time and a place for them. For me, I've completed Kenner. I never went through and did every one of the trophies, but one of them being is to complete the game on hard mode. Well, Kenner's such a good game and it's been some time now and I think it's time to dust it off again. So yes, I could just jump in and play it again, but thanks to the trophies, I'll be like, I'm going to take a crack at hard mode. And I might give up halfway through or I might do it. But if I do it, that might be thanks to the trophy system. So I'm not saying that I want to get them abolished or removed or anything like that. It's just that I think you should just try turning them off and see how you feel about it. And I think devs need to start using them as a way to encourage us to go to parts of the game that we may not have done naturally. So if they've done a really good side story, but people might not bump into it, then yes, put that as a trophy, as a way to say, look, there's a bit something that we kind of want you to look at because we're really proud. But don't turn around and say, go collect 100 of these. Go get so much currency because they are just tedious and pointless and they damage the game. So that's where I'm going to love you and leave you. And normally this is where I would tell you that you need to join GamingUnity.com. I'm not going to tell you that you need to join GamingUnity.com because I think you should just have already joined GamingUnity.com. And if you haven't, it's up to you to join GamingUnity.com. You know what I mean? It's not for me to tell you to join to GamingUnity.com. So you're your own person. Do you know what I mean? I'm not your dad. So it's totally up to you if you wanted to join it. But one thing I do want to plug is this thing, our little Discord. It's a bunch of gamers, and we pretty much are all gamers, but it's a right mixed bag on this Discord server. So obviously we've got all the gaming section. We've got on there kitchen, so people posting recipes, people saying I've made this, photography sections, books and everything like that, all the way to current affairs, so COVID and Middle East and things like that. So if you're interested in just joining the community, then there's a link down below. Come join us. We're a lovely bunch. So that's me done, everybody. And because it's Friday, that means I should be streaming. So time you're watching this, if you want to come and have a natter with me, I will be on Twitch on JurassicJunkie Live. And I've been playing... What am I playing? It's awesome. Where is it? This bad boy. Tormented Souls. We booted it up. It's a like Resi clone, but it's a very good Resi clone, and there's some cracking jump scares in it. So yeah, if you want to watch me play that, come join me. Cheers, guys. Bye. All right, we're definitely going to save. Give me soft music.